Hello everybody, Rick here and welcome back to the channel. Today I'd like to talk about a topic that's really been on my mind over the past few weeks, and that is friendship, and in particular how friendships sort of evolve over time and how we all experience at some point the fact of losing friends as we grow older, and also how that can lead and usually leads to loneliness. So I was talking with my parents the other day. My parents are in their 50s, and we were talking about friends and how they basically have no friends left from childhood. And that really got me thinking. As you guys know, I'm getting closer and closer to 30 years old. And I think in this period of time, our, mid-20s, late 20s, that's where we move on with our lives. A lot of us find new jobs. We move to other cities. We move abroad. In my case, I left super early. You guys know, I left at 19. And something that very naturally, I want to say, occurs is that we, lose contact with all of those people that we were friends with when we were younger. And I believe the reason why this is very important is because this is the moment in which I think a lot of us start to become more and more lonely. And if we don't actually work on maintaining our relationship throughout our lives, it will happen because we see it happening. We can get to 50, 60, 70 being completely alone. And this is really problematic as you see that a lot of elderly people end up dying being completely alone. And loneliness is really a major problem of our society, I think. One of the good things growing up in Italy was that, my grandma used to live with us. So we really had this culture of taking care of our elderly people. My grandma, she was never really on her own. She was never really alone because we as a family took care of her. But unfortunately, that is not really the case in so many places. And it's become quite common here in France, for example. And what we are seeing is that more and more older people are completely lonely. And if you look more into that, loneliness actually has such a major impact not only on our mental health, but on our well-being in general. And we see that loneliness can cause premature death because of the impact that it has mentally and physically on ourselves. And so while I was thinking about all of these things, I generally asked myself why it was so much easier for me to make new friends while I was in school. And I realized something that now appears to me absolutely obvious, but if you want to grow a relationship, just like, growing anything, you really need to put in the hard work to make it happen. And while I was in school, what I didn't realize is that since I saw those people who would become my friend every day, by physically meeting them and talking to them every day, I was putting in that work to grow the relationship. I'm pretty sure that I wasn't aware of it. And one of the biggest mistake and things that I think I took for granted and that I didn't realize once I left is that those relationships still need to be taken care of. You still need to put in the work to make sure that, you maintain those relationships over time. And personally, I want to say that up till I was 24, 25th, I really felt lonely because I didn't put in the work to actually, go out of my bubble and my busy life to go and contact those people that I was friend with and ask how they were. And genuinely, I wasn't putting that effort that was required. And I remember a couple of years ago, I was thinking about all of those people that I was friend with in school, and I did not know why I didn't make the first move to try and contact them back again. And I think I had this weird thought process of, well, why should I contact them and why are they not contacting me? And the reality is that even though that person doesn't contact you back, it doesn't mean that they have something against you. And so when I did take the time, to contact all of those people back, what I realized were two things. The first one is that they had been also thinking about me, but, life gets so busy with school and work and family and things that happen. They didn't really know why they didn't take the first step, just like I didn't take the first step. And I also realized that they had been going through some harsh times. And I it made me feel a little bit bad because, I used to be there for them. And I realized that maybe I could have helped in, maybe if I wasn't physically with them anymore, by simply calling and asking for news. And I could have helped. Another point that I'd like to touch here is that I think that right now there is maybe too much of a focus on being strong, independent human beings. And of course, I do believe that it's very important to be mentally, emotionally, financially stable. And it's very important for our growth to find our place on earth without depending on another human being and without depending on what other people think of us. But at the same time, if we're too focused on ourselves, we forget that we also are social beings. And as such, we really do need those interactions. And so when I think about loneliness and why it makes us feel so bad, it's because we're in a situation in which we lack those social interactions that are so important for our well-being. So if there is one message that I want to give out to the world with this video is that, first of all, it is not too late to go back and contact all of those people that you were friend with. It may have been 5 years, 10 years, or even more. It's never too late. You can contact them back, you can call them, and honestly, we are so privileged because, back in the day, if your friends moved to another country, for example, you really had no way to, maintain that relationship, but this is not the case anymore. And honestly, with all the technology that we have, loneliness shouldn't be such a big problem. So if you have found the time to watch this video up till now, I know that I'm rambling a little bit, but please consider, sending a message to one or two people that you used to be very close with and see how they're doing. Trust me, I did this a couple of weeks ago. I took half a day to contact all of my childhood friends, and it was such a great time. It felt so great talking to them again and realizing that we had all taken different paths in life. It felt really good, reminiscing about the older times. And I really believe that if we took this more seriously and if we invested more time and more work into maintaining our relationship throughout our lives, we would be able to grow old all while not being entirely isolated from society. And honestly, I hope to every single person who's watching this video that you will not end up being lonely and dying alone in this world, which is honestly one of the saddest things that could happen. We can change this, It takes a lot of work. Sending a message, asking how people are doing, going and visit them. It takes effort, but it is absolutely worth it. And with that being said, I rambled a little bit. This video was not scripted at all. I'm going for more of a, freestyle sort of way of doing videos. I wanted to thank you all for 65 subscribers. Thank you so much for that. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great day and that you'll take 5 minutes out of your day to send a message to your older friends, also your relatives, send a message to your grandma, send a message to an aunt that you haven't talked to in a while, in a long time. Please, let's think less about ourselves today and a little bit more about the others. And yeah, wishing you all the best. I'm sending you all a lot of good energy through my camera, if that is a thing. And yeah, I'll see you all in my next video.